What's up guys, Joel Valley here from Media Glitch, and today we're going to look at Star Ocean: The Divine Force. This is a new JRPG game from Square Enix, and I want to thank Square Enix for sending me a copy to review. Before we get too far in this review, do me a favor, drop me a like, a comment, and please, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Now you're saying, okay, the game's been out for a long time, why am I reviewing it now? Well, I guess there was some miscommunication, misunderstanding there. Square Enix said they would let me review it, and I filled out their form on Rainmaker, and I got denied. And so I was like, okay, I got denied. And then like weeks later, I went back to check on my Callisto Protocol and see if I got that review to come in. And I noticed that after being denied, I got approved again. I don't know. So what happened? So I started really late in this game, but that didn't stop me. I blew right through this game because I'm just going to start this review off saying I really love the game. I really think it's amazing. It's not all amazing. In this review, I'm going to give you the good and the bad. You know, I don't have any number per se, but just my what I see in the game, my review of the game. I do recommend playing it if you're a JRPG fan, but I just want to tell you kind of what to expect from this game, the good and the bad. So first off, let's start with the good. We'll do one good, one bad. How about that? The good, the story. The story was very complex, very awesome. Not complex in a bad way. Very complex, as you know, they put some thought in the writing, and I really appreciate that. I like that you can actually play this game through with both Leticia and with Raymond if you want. So you have two different stories, two different endings, probably more endings though, I think, depending on the quests that you do and the relationships you build along the way. So that is a little bit different. That's pretty cool. But the acting was really, really good. The dialogue was great. And it was just very, it felt very epic and big. And they did a really, really good job on that. Now the bad, the story. Okay, so the story, sometimes you'll be playing and it'll be an hour and you haven't even fought anybody. And a lot of times they just, go to the deck, go to your room, go to your room, go to the deck. You should rest, go to the deck, go to the room. Those are the things that slowed the pacing down. And so I didn't care too much for that. I didn't like that when you're running and you want to talk to someone, if you bump into them, there's an animation, they like kind of fall over and you have to wait for that animation to stop before you can proceed. So that took time. Other thing I never understood is like, sometimes it's like, okay, we got to go to the laboratory. So you have to walk all the way there, and then you're at the laboratory and you see like this 30-second cutscene, and then all of a sudden we got to go to the palace, and then it just takes you to the palace in a cutscene. I'm like, why couldn't you just taken me there? A lot of stuff like that kind of, it was really weird. There was no rhyme or reason. You would think that sometimes you'd have to listen to some dialogue when you're walking, but sometimes that wasn't the case. So another good thing, the graphics. I really love the graphic style. I know some people are complaining that they look like dolls, but to me, I don't know. I thought it was great. I love the graphics. I love the enemies. I love the character designs. Everything here felt like a Star Ocean game, and I had a really good time. I thought the graphics are well done. Now, there were some parts where the graphics would get a little weird, like shadows on the wall, or a Mario 64 cloud in the sky, or weird things in the carpet, stuff like that. But for the most part, nothing to complain about, nothing that's going to ruin your experience. The bad, not enough epic boss fights. So shortly into the game, you encounter like this big mud monster, and you're like, wow, this is awesome, and this big worm monster. And then really you don't get much until the end, and I'm like, oh man, that's kind of a bummer. There's some cool moments and there's some cool boss fights, but nothing like you would think, I think we're getting spoiled now. We need to see bigger boss fights with like Dark Souls, Final Fantasy. I think they could step it up in that department a little bit. The good, combat. Now this is where the game shines. I absolutely love this combat system. The way you fly around, what you can do. It's so fast and it's so fun. You don't mind grinding it out at all. Like, I had no issues just walking around the world and fighting, enjoying the world, enjoying the scenery, and enjoying kicking everyone's butt. There's so much upgrading. There's so many weapons, so much you can do here. You will not get bored. It's really, really awesome. I love the combat system here. The bad, the menu system. So the menu system was interesting at times. One of the things that kind of bugged me was that when I was looking to see what gear was best, it actually changed the position of where the guy that I was looking for was, and it just made it like very long to try to figure out if this is the kind of armor that I wanted. The other thing is in the beginning, there's a lot of pop-ups, a lot of menus, a lot of stuff, and it can just become overwhelming. And I understand that they have to teach you the combat system, but I feel like they could have spread it out a little bit more. It was a lot in the beginning. And your side quests, it's really weird because it's not really in your menu system, it's in your map. And I found that really weird, and it was like, and so it was kind of messed up. Also, there's a card game. I'll just throw this in here real quick. I didn't like the card game. I've never played it. I know there's some advantages. You can get some of these little tokens to make you stronger, but honestly, I never needed it. Well, now I've kind of run out of bad stuff, so I might just mention some more good things. Like the level design, awesome. I loved all the things you got to do. You're exploring. I think they did a really, really good job in the graphics, the layout. The towns were not overwhelming. That's one thing I really want to stress, because in a lot of JRPGs, sometimes the towns are so big, and I'm like, okay, where was that guy? What was this? I never felt that. There's one when you're in the palace, it's a little bit bigger for sure, but that, I feel like that's story there almost, because it's the palace, man. It's like the biggest town, it's like that's something that has to happen, right? So I loved that aspect of it. But there were times where they recycled things, and I would get lost just because it looked the same. That was the only downfall, but that only happened a handful of times. The rest of the time, all the levels looked really, really good. Now, as far as the Star Ocean game, I wish we could have seen some more planets and visited a lot more other places. So in past Star Oceans, it doesn't kind of follow that, but it's still cool. You're in your ship, you're in a planet, you're in your ship. So they do some things to make up for that. But all in all, man, if you are a JRPG fan, I don't know why you wouldn't have this in your collection. It was a really, really fun time. I had a great time playing it. And, I might have complained a bit about the story, but like my boy Radical Reggie says, hey, man, we're only getting a Star Ocean game every so often. So let's make that story long and enjoyable. So, you can forgive it for its shortcomings. But in all honesty, I whipped right through this. I wanted to play it more on stream, but my capture card went out, of course. But there were several streams of it, and everyone that was watching it, they I think a lot of them went and picked it up, to be honest with you.
Dude, I'm thinking about doing a video on Star Ocean. I really am. I'm at the end, but Joel, man, this game is. I'm surprised you're playing this over Ys 8 again.
I wasn't even planning on playing Ys 8 again.
So yeah. Check out Star Ocean, guys. If you don't mind dropping me a like, a comment, a sub, if you're new here, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Please, call me JJ.
A dynamite!
All right, JJ. We'll do all we can to help you out.
Please, call me JJ.
All right, JJ. We'll do all we can to help you out. But, in exchange, I want you to tell us everything about the Scorpium.
A dynamite! A dynamite! A dynamite!
Please, call me JJ.